Hello, I'm Mike, and this is Will. We are the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And you're joining us for Game 6 of our Mystery of Artana 3 Narrative Crusade campaign. And in this mission, Captain Palamas and the Silver Templars are conducting a recon patrol while searching through this ruined urban area. We haven't encountered what certainly looks a lot like a Death Guard demon engine. So yes, this is going to be Silver Templars versus Death Guard. We saw the Death Guard in our last game, and it is Recon Patrol from the Crusade mission pack. So for this game, both armies have to keep more than half their army in strategic reserve, but it doesn't cost any command points. So for the Space Marines, I have Squad Remus here, a squad of intercessors with bolt rifles, and they have one upgrade which is Purity Seals. It lets them deny the witch, which won't be relevant in this game. And over here we have Captain Palamas and a squad of veteran intercessors. The veteran intercessors have the Centuria service studs, so they can choose what doctrine they're in at the start of the command phase. And Captain Palamas himself has the Champion of Humanity war trait, the Armour of Zenaris from the Silver Templars White Dwarf supplement, which lets him ignore AP -1 and -2. Also lets him ignore mortal wounds on a 6+, but he already has the Relic Shield that ignores them on a 4+. And he has Artisan Bionics, which give him +1 strength and allow him to ignore wounds on a 5+. And for my strategic reserves, I have a squad of Outriders with no upgrades. We have Squad Leos and Assault Intercessor Squad, who upgraded last game, and they have the Fleet of Foot upgrade, which gives them +1 move and +1 to advance and charge rolls. We have the Swift Blade, a Land Speeder Typhoon, which also leveled up, and it has an elite crew, so it rerolls 1s to hit. And an Eradicator Squad, Squad Siderius, who have +1 ballistic skill, so they have a 2+ ballistic skill. And over on the Death Guard side...
on the board we have a Plague Burst Crawler. This doesn't have any upgrades, it's just stock, but it does have the 2 entropy cannons on the sides and a heavy slugger in the forward mount. And then hiding behind the building, not visible to the Space Marines at the moment, is 2 Chaos Spawn, which is Governess Ludmilla Tarch of Corvon 2 and her military aide, who I still can't remember the name of, General somebody or other.
Yeah, but they have the Grandfatherly Influence upgrade, so they have +1 toughness and disgustingly resilient.
And then in reserve and or reinforcements, to start off at the front we have Lord Vyrosius, who is Lord of Virulence, which is a new Death Guard character that came out with the new codex. So he has his Plague Claw and it's basically a double Plague Spewer. He has a Warlord trait which is Rotten Constitution, which gives him +1 toughness and lets him ignore AP -1 and AP -2, counting them as AP 0 instead. But that's all he has at the moment. Behind him we have the Tallyman. So the Tallyman works a bit differently to how he did in the old version of the codex, which will explain when he's used, and he has the relic, the Toll Keeper, which gives him an aura of 6 inches with Death Guard core units within that aura. When they roll a 6 to hit with a ranged weapon, they get an additional hit. And his other abilities will explain when they come up. Next to him, we have the Tainted Cohort, which is a unit of 5 Blightlord Terminators. We're not actually using any of the 3 models of the original Blightlord Terminators, because one of them was an illegal model, and these ones now have upgraded their equipment. At the front, we have the Champion there, he's got a Bale Sword and a Combi Melter. Next to him is a guy with a Plague Spewer and Bubotic Axe. And then in the back row, from left to right, we have Bubotic Axe and Combi Plasma. We have a Flail of Corruption and Blight Launcher and Bale Sword. Behind them we have Squad Repugnus, which is Unit 5 Plague Marines, Champion with Plasma Gun, Power Fist and Demonic Plague Blade, 4 Plague Marines including a Plasma Gun and a Blight Launcher. And then the 10 Poxwalkers. Poxwalkers of Ruin is the other squad that we didn't see in the previous game, but they don't get experience anyway, they're kind of irrelevant. And then I do have to keep half my army in strategic reserve, or at least half my army by units, and since I have 7 units that means I have to have at least 4 in strategic reserve. That is the Tainted Cohort, the Tallyman, the Poxwalkers and Squad Repugnus, the Plague Marines. And Lord Vyrosius is in the Teleportarium, and all of this works out to be less than 3/4 of my total power off the board, and also less than 3/4 of my total units, which is the conditions of the mission. And as a reminder, we are from the Ferrymen, the 6th Plague Company, which the only relevance for that in this mission will be that I can use the special stratagem, which in this case it allows the Tallyman to extend his aura range of his relic by 6 inches up to 12 inches. It can be any aura that a fated Virion unit possesses, but he's the only one of those I have. We also have the special plague that the Death Guard have in Crusade, and this, if you have the codex, is Bleeding Ravaging Cysts, and the plague carrier is going to be the Warlord, so Lord Vyrosius, because it has to be. What that means is that a unit becomes infected if he hits them in melee. They immediately take D3 mortal wounds and an additional mortal wound at the start of each subsequent Death Guard command phase, unless they can disinfect themselves by performing an action in their own turn.
They take up their entire movement to get rid of the cysts, essentially.
Yeah, so it's quite nasty. We saw that in the last game on Lord Felthius, and hopefully it'll be useful in this one.
So now we can have a look at the battlefield and explain the mission. These large ruins are going to be ruins, so they're going to be obscuring, I believe light cover as well, basically the same as they are from the book. All the other terrain is just going to be barricades, even these ruined walls, just for convenience. As per this mission, we have our deployment zones are opposite table quarters, 10 inches away from the table centre. There are 4 objectives, so there's these containers here in this ruin, this radio tower, that sewer grate, and this relic. So 1 in each table quarter. And starting from the second battle round at the end of your command phase, you get 5 victory points for 3 different conditions. 5 if you control 1 or more objective, 5 if you control 2 or more objectives, and 5 if you control more objectives than your opponent. There is a second objective where we need to recon each of the table quarters. To do that, a unit can perform an action at the start of the movement phase, where it essentially just does nothing for the whole turn, and then you reconnoiter the table quarter, and at the end of the game you get victory points depending on how many. So you get 45 for all 4, 30 for 3, 15 for 2, and 0 or 1 is nothing. And for our agendas, I picked Reaper from the Choral book and Know No Fear from the Space Marine book, while William picked Sentinel, and he's going to pick well, technically it's at the start of his command phase, but we'll just do it now. He's going to pick the Plague Burst Crawler and that objective over there. And the other one was Turn Their Hope to Rot from the Death Guard book, where if he destroys my unit with the highest power, the unit that destroys them gets 3 experience and a virulence point. So you got a choice between the Outriders or the Eradicators, and he picked the Eradicators. And one other thing, we mentioned strategic reserve, so we had to start with more than half our units in strategic reserve, but also if we try to bring in a unit in the second battle round, and also the first battle round, but none of our units can actually come in on the first battle round, they can only come in on a roll of 4+, otherwise they have to wait until the third battle round. And for the purposes of strategic reserves, the long battlefield edges are considered to be ours, so this is my battlefield edge, and that is William's battlefield edge up there. And also point out the Death Guard start with 3 extra command points because of that. I have 8 Crusade points and they only have 3, so they get half of the difference rounded up. So half of 5 rounded up is 3. And we rolled off, so you goes first, and I won the roll off. Now we can finally get into Space Marines turn 1. So for my command phase, I gain a command point. In the movement phase, Captain Palamas is going to perform the Recon Sweep action, and then Squad Remus and Squad Marcos are both going to advance because there's not really going to be anything worth shooting at. So Squad Remus gets to go an extra 4, and Squad Marcos an extra 3. Squad Remus is just going to run across the road to behind this building. We are counting all of this entire, the whole thing is a ruin, so this whole footprint is obscuring. And Squad Marcos will run across the road into the ruin opposite their starting position. And Captain Palamas has to stay where he is because he's reconning the area, which he'll complete at the end of my turn. So I use the translucent red die to mark how many table quarters we've each reconnoitred, and brings me up to 1. But that's actually going to be the end of my turn, so I'll be on to Death Guard at turn 1.
At the start of, I get a command point in my command phase. At the start of my movement phase, the Plague Burst Crawler will do the action from the mission to Recon Sweep this table quarter.
Yeah, it's allowed to do that. It says any unit, so...
Yep. And then the 2 Chaos Spawn have moved into this building here, where they hopefully won't be able to be seen by the veteran intercessors.
Yeah, there is a window just there in the middle, but I don't think we'll be able to see any through them.
Yeah, I tried to arrange them so you can't see any bits of them. Well, that's my turn.
So that's the end of Death Guard turn 1. At the end of the turn, they reconnoitre their home table quarter, so we're both up to 1 each, and we head into Space Marines turn 2. So in my command phase, I gain a command point. I switch to the tactical doctrine. I should also point out that the veteran intercessors have the Centurious service studs, as I said, which means at the start of my command phase I can decide which doctrine they're in. They're just going to be in the tactical doctrine unless I say otherwise. And at the end of my command phase I gain 5 victory points because Captain Palamas is holding this objective. And I don't hold more than the Death Guard, so I only get 5. So at the beginning of my movement phase I'm going to decide that veteran intercessor Squad Marcos is going to do the Recon Sweep action to reconnoitre that table quarter. Captain Palamas is just going to move up a bit, so he still holds the objective inside the building, but is within 6 inches of the veteran intercessors in case they need to shoot at anything. And the intercessor squad down here is actually going to move across to the street so that they can see the spawn, because only 1 unit can perform the recon sweep action at a time. And I could have tried to advance to take this objective, but that would expose them to fire from the Plague Burst Crawler, and they'd need to roll something like a 5 to actually get up there. So I'm going to try and take some pot shots at the spawn instead. And I'm going to try and bring on 3 of the units this turn, so I'll do the Outriders first on a 4+. They arrive. The Land Speeder on a 4+, does not arrive. And the Eradicators also do not arrive, so just the Outriders. So the Outriders are going to appear, come on from this table edge. The Sergeant is tucked in inside the ruins, and this guy is just towing in, and that is within 6 inches, just about. You can both see the green spawn hiding in the back of that building, and all 3 of them are invisible to the Plague Burst Crawler unless it moves, and it'll also deny the Death Guard coming in along this table edge pretty much. A slight change to my plans. I'm going to try and bring in the Assault Intercessors just to see if I can deny some more of the board for the Death Guard reinforcements. And they do arrive on a 4. And the Assault Intercessors are going to come on this table edge near the Veteran Intercessors. In the shooting phase, this Intercessor squad is going to fire at the 2 Chaos Spawn tucked in that building. We count as being stationary because we're an Ultramarine successor, so even though we moved, we still get to rapid fire because of Bolter Discipline. 10 shots hitting on 3s. 8 hits, wounding on 5s. Getting 1.
And I do get a 6+ save because they're in like cover, and the bolt rifles are AP-2 in the Tactical Doctrine. Nope, so that is a wound on a spawn. I think we'll put the wound on the green one, not that it matters very much.
Next up, the bikes are going to shoot at the spawn. The Sergeant in the ruin and this chap here can just about make out the green spawn in the shadows in the building, so they can shoot at him. So we've got 8 shots from the 2 bikes, also hitting on 3s. Only getting 5. And wounding on 5s, getting 3.
So I need a 6 to save it? Nope, we don't, so there's 3 wounds to kill the spawn. So that takes out the green spawn, leaving the pink one.
There's nothing else to shoot, so at the end of the shooting phase I'm going to spend 2 command points to use the rapid fire stratagem on this Intercessor squad so they can shoot at the spawn again. So spend 2 command points, 10 shots hitting on 3s, ooh, only getting 6, and wounding on 5s. Getting 3 though.
6s. Nope, 3 wounds on the spawn, down to 1.
Yeah. At the end of my turn, the Veteran Intercessors will finish reconnoitering that table quarter, bringing me up to 2 quarters reconned. And then we'll head into Death Guard turn 2.
In my command phase, I gain a command point going up to 11, and I also gain 5 victory points for holding 1 objective. Plague Burst Crawler is just going to shift over a little bit and a little bit back so he can see the bikes now, and the spawn will advance. Rolling for that, 2 inches. It's not as good a distance as I wanted, so I'm going to re-roll. Into a 1! Excellent.
Spending a command point.
So it's not where I wanted to send it. I wanted it to go the other direction entirely, but that wasn't actually enough to get into the table quarter that I wanted it to be in, so I'm just going to send it over here to stand by this objective. On to the reinforcement step. I'm going to try and bring on the Poxwalkers on 4+, first of all. They come on, which is good. The Poxwalkers are going to come on here. They're just over 9 inches away from the Biker Sergeant tucked in the corner of the ruins, and they are also within 3 inches of that objective, so they will hold that next command phase if they're still there. We'll roll for the Plague Marines next on the 4+. We get them, and we'll try the Tallyman. He does not come in, which is a shame. I'm going to try and bring on the Tainted Cohort as well, I think, on 4+. No, they don't come on. And after some thought, we will try and bring Lord Vyrosius on, because his reroll 1's aura will be pretty handy. We do get him, excellent. And so the big man will come on there, within range to give the Plague Marines benefit of his aura, or auras, there are 2 of them. On to the shooting phase, we'll start with the Plague Burst Crawler, and it's going to shoot everything at the Outriders, because you can just about see them around the corner now that it's moved. Start with our 2 entropy cannons, hitting on 3s now, because Demon Engines are better. They both hit. Wounding on 3s, strength 8, rerolling 1s, because of Plague Weapon. That's a 2, which isn't a reroll, but I will spend a command point. Looking for 3. Nope, still a 2.
So that's going to be a dead bike though.
So yeah, it's AP-4, and it does D3 plus 3 damage, which is the minimum 4, obviously, which is what the bike has.
Yep.
We'll do the Plague Burst Mortar next, which is heavy D6. 4. Hitting on 3s. 3 hits. Also wounding on 3s, rerolling 1s. Another 2 there. We've got 2 AP-2 hits.
And I'll put them on the guy outside. The regular guy remaining. 5+ armor saves. Made 1, failed 1. Takes 2 damage. The one guy died outside, and then this guy takes 2 damage. Doesn't get any cover because he's a biker. Heavy slugger.
4 shots hitting on 3s. We've got 2. Wounding on 4s because it's strength 5. And it's not a blade weapon, so it's 1 wound. He might as well 1.
4+ save. Failed. So he goes down to 1 wound.
And then the Plague Marines are going to shoot everything at the Veteran Intercessors, and they can see one of them around the corner of the room.
Probably the Sergeant or the guy. But I am going to spend a command point for Transhuman Physiology.
We will begin with the plasma guns, which I have to declare I'm overcharging them when I declare them to shoot, and we will overcharge. The Lord Vyrosius does have reroll 1s aura though, so we'll start with the Champion, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. That's the usual thing champions do. Right, we've got 1 hit and no death. I'll do the other one's hits on 3s. 1 on the 2 again. Right, he manages 1 hit as well. Wounding on 4s because of Transhuman. Makes a difference. We've got 1 wound, he minus 3.
I'll put it on one of the guys in cover. 5+. Noob. Kill this veteran.
Blight Launcher next, hitting on 3s, 2 shots, reroll that 1. Oh, 2 hits. Wounding on 3s, rerolling 1s.
4s.
Oh, 4s rerolling 1s, but 2 wounds.
And the 6 is increased AP, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yes, because that's the Lord of Virulence's aura gives it an extra AP, so it's 1 AP minus 3 and 1 AP minus 2.
The AP minus 2 on one of the guys outside, 5+. Nope. And the AP minus 3 on one of the guys inside, 5+. Nope. I will re-roll that. Try and save another veteran. Yes. So one of the guys outside gets killed. I'll take away this one.
And finally, 4 shots with bolt guns on the 3s. We've got 3. Wounding on 4s. Oh, 2. Moderately successful shooting, and in the charge phase, Lord Vyrosius will charge these assault intercessors over here. Needing the good old 9. That's a 3. I'll spend command point because I've got loads. It's down to 8 remaining. I'll do that in a second. No, not getting the charge. And I think we'll declare a charge for the Poxwalkers on the bikes as well, just because if I do manage to roll the 9, it will keep the bikes over there, and therefore they can't tie up my Plague Burst Crawler. Point. So just a 9 needed now.
In the morale phase, technically the veteran intercessors and the bikes both have to make morale tests because they lost models, but I can't possibly fail. But this does mean they both gain a point on their no fear tallies, because they technically pass a morale test. And that is the end of Death Guard turn 2, on to Space Marines turn 3. Then in my command phase, I gain a command point and go up to 5. I gain 5 victory points because Captain Palamas is still holding that objective, but we don't hold any others. So in my movement phase, the assault intercessors have moved 7 inches into the ruins, so we can start engaging those Death Guard. The veteran intercessors have moved, and Palamas has moved so that they can kind of defend him. This intercessor squad is going to be performing the Recon Sweep action, so they can't move. And the Outriders have moved up to enter the Death Guard table quarter and start dealing with all of these Poxwalkers. And in my reinforcement step, the unit of Eradicators is going to arrive off of my board edge, and they're 6 inches. It's just enough to get them all inside the ruin. And over here the land speed is just going to arrive so it can see the Plague Burst Crawler.
At the start of the Space Marine shooting phase, I'm going to play Cloud of Flies on these Plague Marines. This costs 2 command points now, but it works the same way, so basically it means the Space Marines have to kill the spawn before they can shoot the Plague Marines. So
at the start of the shooting phase, the Eradicators are going to shoot at the Plague Burst Crawler. I'm just going to roll them all of their shots together because there's nothing like reanimation protocols that would mean I should roll them separately. So we've got 6 shots hitting on 2s because of their increased ballistic skill. Yeah, I will command point one of those 1s into a try and get a hit. Yeah, it's a hit. Only wounding on 4s because strength 8 versus toughness 8. Getting 2 wounds. 5+ in honourable saves.
Made neither. No, I've still got the land speeder to come, so I won't spend a command point yet.
2d6 damage. Yeah, so there's 4 each, so it's going to be 8 in total. So the Plague Burst Crawler is down to 4 wounds, and then the land speed is going to shoot at it as well. So 2 multi-melter and then 2 crack missiles from the launchers. So I'll do the multi-melter first. 2 shots hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s because the land speeder has or the Swift Blade has an elite crew. 2 hits, wounding on 4s, 1 wound.
5+ invulnerable again. No. Oh, I spend a command point, I think, because if it survives, that would be quite big. It's going down to 5. Looking for 5. No, still goes through.
D6 damage -1. 3 down to 2. 2 wounds left on the Plague Burst Crawler, and then 2 crack missiles hitting on 3s, also rerolling 1s. Both hit. Wounding on 4s. Nothing. Moving over to the other end of the battlefield, the assault intercessors. These 3 can all see the spawn, so they'll shoot at that, and then the sergeant can shoot his plasma pistol at Lord Vyrosius. So 3 pistol shots hitting on 3s, 3 hits, wounding on 5s, getting 1. It is in cover, so 5+ save.
No, spawn's dead.
Yeah, and you've used a command point. That's a point on the Reaper tally for the assault intercessors. But I'll do the Sergeant Leos's plasma pistol against Vyrosius. 1 shot hitting on 3, I'm not going to overcharge. He hits, wounds on 3, it wounds.
4+ invulnerable save. Oh.
So he takes a wound. Vyrosius is down to 5. Next up, the veteran intercessors can all just about see the Plague Marine with the Blight launcher, so they're going to shoot at them. Now that they're the closest unit, can shoot them despite Cloud of Flies. So they got 6 shots, rapid firing, rerolling 1s because of the captain. Rerolling all those 1s, getting 5 hits in total, and wounding on 5s, getting 2, AP -2.
5s. 1 and a 2, so that's enough to kill 1 Plague Marine off. So we'll lose 1 Plague Marine.
Also, we completely forgot about Bomb Marshal, the Silver Templars thing, so the previous turn, there were definitely some misses I could have re-rolled, so it's possible the Spawn might be dead, but I think we're just going to say that probably would have changed Will's entire deployment of his Plague Marines. I'm just going to say I forgot about it, so I did. And so William has graciously allowed me to have that command point back that I didn't need to spend.
For re-rolling the Eradicator's hit roll.
Yeah. And next up, the Outriders are going to shoot their twin bolt rifles into the Poxwalkers. We've got 8 shots hitting on 3s. I can re-roll a miss because of Bomb Marshal. Into a miss. 6 hits. Wounding on 3s. Getting 3.
No armor save, but 6+ to ignore wounds. Oh, double 6. We only kill 1 Poxwalker.
Yay.
Yeah, so about that one.
So I'm going to spend 2 command points to play the uncompromising fire stratagem on this squad of intercessors, which allows them to shoot without their recon sweep action failing. So they're also going to shoot at the Plague Marines. We've got 10 shots hitting on 3s. 10 hits. They need a reroll. Wounding on 5s. Getting 3, looks like.
And we're going to be looking for 5s. Oh, none, so 3 wounds. So we're going to lose this bolt gun and the plasma gun will take the wound.
That'll be the end of my shooting phase. In the charge phase, I'm going to start with the assault intercessors. They're going to declare a charge on the Plague Marines.
I think I will use a command point to Overwatch, because even if they can take out 1 or 2, that would be quite good, and they're probably going to die. We will overcharge the plasma guns, because we do have Lord Vyrosius nearby. We'll start with the normal dude. He rolls a 1 and a miss. Reroll 1 into a miss. The champion's plasma gun does not hit. And then the blight launcher rolls a 1, which I can reroll. Into nothing, so no hits from anything.
And they charge from the assault intercessors. We add 1 because of our fleet of foot. Getting a 6 to a 7. So that is enough to get them in range, but I want them to get out of heroic intervention range of Vyrosius. So I'm actually going to re-roll that. Re-roll into a 10. So an 11, it's definitely going to be enough. Assault intercessors are going to finish their charge like that, staying 3 inches away from Vyrosius. And over on the other side of the board, the Outriders are going to charge the Poxwalkers. Their charge distance is going to be a 5, it's definitely enough. So the Outriders are going to finish their charge like that. The wounded one is going to go into base contact with those 2 Poxwalkers, so one can't pile in around if Will decides to interrupt. Then hopefully Sarge can pile in to bring in the Plague Burst Crawler. So I'm going to start fighting with the assault intercessors first. So 1 intercessor that was on his own is going to pile in, and then we're going to put all our attacks onto those Plague Marines. So we've got 21 attacks from the assault intercessors. 6 is automatically wound because of Bomb Marshal, because it's the duelist aspect of it. 3 auto wounds, looks like. Yeah, and I can re-roll one of these misses, which there were quite a few. Into a hit. It's 10 regular hits that wound on 5s. Getting another 4. So it's going to be 7 wounds at 8 minus 1 in total.
7 4+ saves. Failed, 5. So that's just enough. So I'll spend a command point to try and reroll one of these. If the Power Fist is alive, that would be handy. Oh, he is with a 4. So the champion is left on 1 wound. So we lose these 2 guys, and the champion is remaining.
Yeah, and I'll consolidate those assault intercessors. So they're going to surround the Plague Champion. The Outriders get to go next. They're just going to pile in. Sarge will pile in like that. Bring the Plague Burst Crawler into range, but he's within half an inch of the other guys, so they can all fight the Poxwalkers. So 13 attacks from the Outriders. Once again, 6 is automatically wound. 2 auto wounds, and then I'll re-roll one of these misses. Into a miss. 8 regular hits, which wound on 3s. 4, sorry, yes, toughness 4, 6, 7 wounds.
And ignoring wounds on 6s. 0, so 7 dead. We will leave the 2 who are over here near the objective.
Yep.
I'll fight back with the Poxwalkers, it doesn't matter really what order I do it in. 4 attacks hitting on 4s. Oh, 4 4s. Yeah, winning on 5s, strength 3. Oh, 2 wounds. Wow.
2 3+ saves. Oh, you killed him.
Aha, and I get a Poxwalker back.
Yeah, I'm not going to re-roll that. Wounded Outrider.
Resurrected Biker will come back as a Poxwalker over there, and we're not in engagement range anymore, and I'm not going to consolidate into the Biker. And then I might as well fight back with the Plague Burst Crawler as well. Plague Burst Crawler has 4 attacks, even in its lowest bracket, which it's in. They hit on 6s though. No hits. And then let's see if the champion can take out any assault intercessors. 3 attacks, hitting on 4s because it's a Power Fist, but rerolling 1s. We've got 2 hits.
Sorry, I should say it's supposed to be when they're selected. I should say I'm going to use Transient Velocity, but I will rather than making them fight twice, because I think I would rather them to stay in melee and have enough survive so that you have to try and break out.
And then we are winning on 4s because of Transient, so Double 1, and it's not a plague weapon.
So it would have been irrelevant. But that's all of the fighting over. So we're on to the morale phase, where the plague champion has to make a morale test.
He lost all the rest of the unit, so don't want a high number, but he's okay on it.
Yeah. And technically the bikes lost to the unit, so they have to make a morale test as well. So they gain another point and then no fear tally. And also at the end of the turn, this intercessor squad reconnoiters this table quarter, bringing me up to 3 in total. But with all of that over, it's on to Death Guard turn 3.
So in my command phase, I gain a command point, and I'm going to use it straight away to play the Dead Walk again on the Poxwalkers.
And also the Death Guard control 1 objective, so they gain 5 victory points, but we've done that already.
So this is once per game stratagem. I roll 7 dice, and on 3s I get Poxwalkers back. 4 back, that'll do. So we'll bring back 4 Poxwalkers like this, remaining in coherency with larger unit size. In the movement phase, the Poxwalkers will move out. They're going to head for the land speeder, just try and tie it up for a turn probably. And the Plague Burst Crawler will stay in melee because then it can shoot into melee with the Bike Sergeant. Over here, the poor old champion will stay in melee because he can't get out. And Lord Vyrosius will come through the wall to about here, so he can still make a charge backwards into those intercessors if I feel necessary. But at the end of the movement phase, the Tainted Cohort will come in from Strategic Reserve, and remember they were in Strategic Reserve and not Teleport Strike, so they do have to come in here, along with the Tallyman. And that'll be the end of my movement, on to shooting. Yeah, well, Lord Vyrosius is going to shoot his twin Plague Spewer into the Veteran Intercessors. It has a 12-inch range these days. 2d6 automatic hits for 3. Wow, well, that's still strength 5, rerolling 1s to wound though, so 3s. We don't want to see 2s, but it's 2 wounds at AP -1.
4+ saves. Fail both. We'll take away this one, but that's enough to make Captain Palamas a viable target for the Tainted Cohort.
Then the Tainted Cohort will split their fire. Now that the captain is a viable target, we'll put the Combi Melter, just the melter portion, into him, and the Combi Plasma Gun part, supercharged, and the Light Launcher. And then we'll put the Plague Spear into the remaining intercessors. Because the captain's relic allows him to ignore AP -1 and AP -2, which means there's not much point putting lesser shots into it. I guess we'll start with the Combi Melter. 1 shot hitting on a 3, rolling 1s. That's a hit. Wounds on a 2. That's a 6.
4+ save. Made it.
Plasma Gun, supercharged, 2 shots. There's the inevitable 1, which I can reroll. Into a 6. 2 hits. Wounding on 2s as well. That's a 1 there, I won't reroll that.
4+ invulnerable save. Made it.
And the Light Launcher. 3s and 3s rolling 1s. Nope, still only 1 wound.
2+ save from the Blight Launcher. That's a 3, was it?
Yeah.
And you got an extra hit from that Plasma Gun.
Yeah, which is from the Tallyman's Tollkeeper relic, which wounds on a 2. It did.
4+ save. Failed. 5+ ignore wounds from Artisan Bionics. Made 1, so he takes 1 damage, down to 5.
And then we've got the Plague Spewer shooting the intercessors, which gets 5 automatic hits, which wound on 3s rerolling 1s. Reroll those 1s. Into 2, so 4 wounds, AP -1 again.
4+ saves. In the box. Oh, made 3 of them, so only 1 wound. Remaining generic veteran will take a wound.
The Tallyman has a plasma pistol, will shoot it not supercharged, try and get rid of that intercessor on a wound. Hits on a 3, he's not within range to reroll. Well, he's not a core unit anyway, but it hits, wounds on a 3, which it does.
6+ save. Yep. So this intercessor veteran will die.
We'll do the Plague Burst Crawler. I'm going to declare the Entropy Cannons and the Heavy Slugger to shoot at the Biker Sergeant, and the Plague Burst Mortar will put into the Eradicators. It's a blast weapon, so it can't shoot at the Sergeant in melee, but if it kills the Sergeant with its other weapons, it will be able to shoot. And I'll also use a command point for Unclean Machine Spirit to let it shoot as though it's in its full bracket, i.e. full ballistic skill. And secondly, I will use another command point for Disgusting Force, which makes its Plague Burst Mortar damage 3 flat rather than 2.
Yeah, and Death Guard, well, certainly the Plague Burst Crawler ignores a -1 to hit for shooting a heavy weapon in melee as well.
Actually, this isn't true. This is part of the Inexorable Advance rule, but the Plague Burst Crawler does not in fact get this rule because it does not have the Bubonic Astartes keyword. But fortunately, as you see, I didn't roll any 3s to hit, so it didn't actually make any difference in this instance.
And I guess since they've been chosen as the target of a shooting attack, I will use Transhuman Physiology on the Eradicators.
Technically, I should have used Unclean Machine Spirit in my command phase, but Mike is kindly going to let me do it because I did intend to do that anyway, and I just didn't read it properly. So, still learning this army. So we'll do the Entropy Cannons into the Biker Sergeant. We hit on 3s, thanks to all the various bonuses they do. And they wound on 2s because, yeah, reducing his toughness to 4. So that's a wound.
Yeah, he's dead.
He's dead.
Minimum damage is 4, which he takes twice, so he's dead.
So the Plague Burst Mortar does get to shoot. It gets D6 shots. Oh, 5, I'll take that. 3s to hit. 3. 4s to wound because transhuman physiology, but rerolling 1s. We get 2 wounds. It's AP -2 though, you're in colours.
4+ saves. Make one failed one, so 1 eradicator will die. We'll take away this guy.
On to the charge phase. The Poxwalkers will charge the land speeder, mainly just to tie it up and get themselves into that board quarter. Needing, I don't know, maybe a 3. A 4 is probably just enough. So moving in like that with just enough movement, and they do ignore the movement penalty for moving over this barricade here because Death Guard inexorable advance, so let's ignore that.
Unfortunately, another mistake here. Like the Plague Burst Crawler, the Poxwalkers do not get inexorable advance because they don't have the Bubonic Astartes keyword either, but moreover, inexorable advance doesn't actually ignore the movement penalties for crossing difficult terrain. This is clarified in the FAQ document for the Death Guard Codex. So I probably shouldn't have actually made that charge with this low roll, but looking ahead in the game, it probably wouldn't have made too much difference, possibly a command point here or there because I might have had to re-roll this. But just another little oversight that comes with learning a new codex, and we'll be sure to correct this in the future.
The Terminators declare a charge against both the Captain and the remaining Intercessor, needing a 9. Getting in an 11. They finish their charge like that, getting everyone into the Captain mostly, and then Lord Vyrosius will charge these Intercessors over here. And he's in for 7. And he comes over here, he's within an inch. I'll do Vyrosius first. He's got 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1. Oh, not rerolling 1, sorry. But yes, so 2 misses, but he got a hit, so we immediately activate the Plague, which does D3 mortal wounds immediately. 3 wounds, okay.
So that's going to be 1.5 Intercessors dead so far.
And then our hits wound on 2s.
Rerolling 1s.
Rerolling 1s, because it is a Plague weapon. So 3 wounds at AP -3.
Yeah, so 6 pluses. No, none at all. So there's going to be just the Sergeant left on 1 wound, I think. So, slight change. Sergeant Leos wasn't actually in range of the objective, so I'm going to keep one of the other assault intercessors and keep Vyrosius in melee.
And I won't consolidate because I want to stay as far this way as possible.
Another slight mistake here, the guy remaining should in fact be on 2 wounds and not 1, because the wording of the rule is that the mortal wounds are applied immediately when the hit is scored, not after the attacks have been made, as normally would happen with mortal wounds. As you'll see coming up, this would actually make no difference to the game at all.
We'll do the Terminator cohort next, the Terminators, and I'm going to use 1 command point for Vermid Whispers, which is for your Death Guard Terminator unit, gives them +1 to hit for a phase. And I'm going to put all of their melee weapon attacks into Captain Palamas. Do the Flail of Corruption first. 6 attacks, because it rolls twice for every hit roll. We're hitting on 2s. There's a 1, but the 2s are, I'm glad I used that command point. And wounding on 3s, because it's strength 5. Oh, re-rolling 1s, thankfully. Oh dear, all the 2s. So only 2 wounds at AP -2, which he ignores.
Yeah, 2 plus. Oh, failed 1. 5 plus to ignore. Failed both, so he's down to 3 wounds so far.
We'll do the Bale Swords next. This includes the Champion, so it's 7 attacks in total on 2s. A lot of 6s. I wish Death of the False Emperor was still a thing. Never mind. Wounding on 3s. And re-rolling that 1. That's 5 wounds at AP -3.
5, 4 plus saves. Failed 4, so he'll ignore them on 5s. Or ignore 2, he's down to 1.
Can we get in with the Bubotic Axes? We've got 2 of these, 3 attacks each on 3s. 2s, and that's 5 hits. Wounding on 2s as well, because strength 6, and he's down to toughness 3, because of contagion. Reroll 1s. 5 wounds at AP -2 though, so you get 2 pluses.
2 pluses.
Oh.
Made them all.
Piling in our 3 inches, we can only get 5 of the Poxwalkers in range. 10 attacks, hitting on 4s. 6 hits. Yeah, wounding on 5s, because we drop it to toughness 5 with Contagion Aura. Makes a difference to 3 wounds.
3 plus saves.
Oh!
Fail them all. Oh. Down to 3 wounds. Well, that's all the charges over, so I get to pick the first unit, and that's going to be the remaining Assault Intercessor. He's going to put all of his attacks into the Plague Champion. So we have 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, 6 is automatically wounded. Get to re-roll a miss though, because of Bomb Marshal. Into a miss, not good. Wounding on 5s, nope.
The Champion gets to hit back. 3 attacks hitting on 4s, 222.
Yeah, I'll do the Land Speeder next. 3 attacks hitting on 3s. Re-rolling 1 because of Bomb Marshal. 2 hits. So in that case, that's an automatic wound. But that's 6 I re-rolled. And wounding on 4s. 1 wound.
6 to ignore. Nope. There.
I'll do Captain Palamas next. He's got 6 attacks hitting on 2s. Re-rolling that 1 because of Bomb Marshal. They all hit. Wounding on 3s. because he has +1 strength from his sword and +1 strength from Artisan Bionics. Getting 5 wounds.
Okay, well, we just get a 4+ invulnerable save against this. Failing 4 though, so that's 4 wounds.
3 damage apiece, but that gets reduced to 1 each, so it's 1 Terminator dead and 1 down to 2 wounds.
So we'll lose the Plague Spewer man and we'll put the wound on, where's he gone? Plasma gun.
And then that veteran Intercessor Sergeant can fight as well. 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s because of Palamas, and 6 is automatically wound. I can reroll that 1 and because of Palamas, and that 2 because of Bomb Marshal. Well, we got an automatic wound, and then wounding on 5s, getting another 1.
2+ armor save. Made both.
Veteran Intercessor Sergeant technically has to make a morale test in the morale phase, but he only lost 2 friends, so he's fine. Leadership 9. Lone Intercessor does, and he's only leadership 7. A 1, 2, or a 3 is good. No, he's going to run away. The last Assault Intercessor flees. Also the Eradicators, I forgot about them, they took a casualty, so they have to take a morale test and automatically passed, and they get a tally as well.
Actually, I forgot I would have consolidated with this Terminator to bring him in range of the objective. And well, I would have also consolidated this one who died around a little bit, but again, he's dead now, so I think it's still going to be contested regardless.
With all that over, we head into Space Marines turn 4. So, I switch to the Assault Doctrine, I gain a command point, and I don't hold any objectives, so I don't gain any victory points. So, in my movement phase, I'm going to spend my command point to play the hit and run warfare stratagem on my land speeder. So, in my movement phase, Captain Palamas and Sergeant Marcos are going to fall back to consolidate over the objective. Over here, the Eradicators have moved forward and the Intercessor Squad has moved into the ruins. And the land speeder has fallen back into the Death Guard table quarter. So before I play the hit and run warfare stratagem on it, so it can shoot if it needs to. And it'll be on to the shooting phase. Going to start the shooting phase, the land speeder is going to shoot at the Plague Burst Crawler. Do the multi-motor first. 2 shots hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s because of Elite Crew. Both hit. Wounding on 4s. Nothing. Crack missiles hitting on 3s. Hit. Wounding on 4s. 2 wounds.
5+. Made 1, failed 1. So D6 minus 1 damage.
Yeah, D6 minus 1. 4, down to 3. Boom.
So Plague Burst Crawler is destroyed.
Next, the Eradicators are going to go, and they're going to shoot at Vyrosius. I'll just roll them all together again. So we got 4 shots, hitting on 2s. They all hit. Wounding on 3s. Only getting 2.
4+ invulnerable. Oh dear, failed both. Don't have any command points.
D6 minus 1 each. So that's 4 and 2 for 6. Just enough to kill him. Finally, the Intercessor Squad is going to shoot at the Plague Marine over by the objective over there. We have 5 shots hitting on 3s. Rerolling that 2 because of Bomb Marshal into a hit. Wounding on 5s. Getting 2.
Into the Assault Doctrine, so 4+ saves. Oh dear, no, neither, so he's dead.
Yeah, so he's dead. In the charge phase, the Intercessor Squad will try to charge the Poxwalkers. So they're going to need to roll a 9 to be able to get in range, which they did not. In that case, the Eradicators will have a go as well. Probably going to need a 10. Nope. That'll be it for my turn, I believe. On to Death Guard turn 4.
So in my command phase, I gain a command point, and finally we get to use the Tallyman's 7-fold chant. If he rolls 7+ on 2d6, I gain another command point. That's a 7, so up to 2. Yay. Then in the movement phase, the Tallyman will stand still and he will reconnoitre this table quarter. Tainted cohort have spread out a bit, so the ones with ranged weapons can see through these windows, and they can hopefully charge in and take that objective. And the Poxwalkers have moved to there like that, to hopefully stop this land speeder from doing the reconnoitring next turn. On to the shooting. We're going to shoot all of our weapons at the Intercessor, because I need one of these 2 models to be alive. We'll do the Blight Launcher because it had a better chance of killing him. Well, good chance of killing him. 1 hit, comes on 3, it's a wound.
4+ because I've got cover. Nope. Dead.
That's it for shooting, then the Tainted Cohort will charge Captain Palamas. Yeah, they're right. So that brings them into the ruins around the Captain. And the Poxwalkers will charge the land speeder. Yeah, they're in. So coming in like that, and this Poxwalker here has moved over here to be in range of this objective. We'll do our ton of attacks on the Captain. We'll start with the Flail. 6 attacks on 3s. Oh, sorry, actually I'll spend one of my command points for Vermid Whispers, I should have said that.
Yeah,
I meant to do that, so the 2s do hit. Wounding on 3s, rolling 1s. That's 3. That's 4, sorry.
4 2+ saves.
Yep.
Made them all.
7 attacks with swords, on 3s. Or 2s rather, but didn't roll any. Wounding on 3s. Roll 1. Okay, that's 5.
4 plus saves. So that was 3 fails, ignoring them on 5s. No, there he goes down. Captain Palamas is dead.
And 10 attacks with Poxwalkers, hitting on 4s. Ooh, that's pretty good. 7 hits. Wounding on 5s.
1.
Yeah, 1.
3 plus save. Failed as well, down to 2. Landspeeder gets 3 attacks back, hitting on 3s. 3 rolling, 1 because of bomb martial. 2 hits. 4s. 1 wound.
6 to ignore. No, 1 Poxwalker dies.
And at the end of the turn, the Tallyman reconnoitres that table quarter, and that'll be the end of Death Guard turn 4. On to Space Marines turn 5. So I can fit all my movement on the screen. The land speed has fallen back. I'm going to spend a command point for the hit and run warfare stratagem, and it's going to hold that objective. And the Eradicators and the Intercessors are going to move out of the building as far as they can, so that we can start shooting at these Plague Marines. I'll start with the Eradicators first. We have 4 shots hitting on 2s. They will hit, and wounding on 3s. 2 wounds.
4 plus invulnerable. Made 1, failed 1. I'll take that because...
Well, minimum, they're within 12 inches, so
yeah.
You're going to kill the wounded man.
Yep.
Next I'll do the Land Speeder. Multi-motor hits on 3s, rerolling 1s. Oh, I don't know why I rolled a red dice, but I'll reroll that 1 into a hit. And then wounding on 3s. Nothing.
Oh.
Crack missiles. Get 2 hits and wound on 3s. Getting 2 wounds.
3 plus save though, because -2 and I'm in cover. Yeah. Infantry. Oh, still failed 1. I'll spend my command point to reroll that. Try and get 3. No, into a 1 again.
D6 -1. 4, down to 3. That's another dead Terminator.
We'll lose the Blight Launcher because the shooting isn't going to be relevant next turn, because I hope to do the action if I can.
Finally, the Intercessors will shoot 10 shots hitting on 3s. Rerolling one of those 1s because of Bomb Marshal into a hit. Wounding on 5s. 3.
2 plus saves. Oh, rolled 1 though. Wound on the champion.
Yep, that'll be all my shooting, so we'll be on to the charge phase. The Intercessors will charge. Gonna need a 6. Getting 4. The Eradicators will charge as well. Getting a 7. That might be enough. So that is enough to get the Eradicators in, and they get to fight first. 7 attacks from the Eradicators, hitting on 3s. 6 is automatically wound because duelists. 3 wounds. And reroll that 2 because of Bomb Marshal. Oh, into a miss. And regular hits, wound on 5s. Getting 2 more. 8 -1.
Yeah, sorry, I should have said I was set to defend because I'm in a defensible ruin, but anyway. 3 plus. That's important.
Yeah.
So that does kill off the champion.
Yeah. Roll consolidate. So you get both guys near the objective.
So the game might actually come down to whether I can kill 2 Eradicators with this 1 flail. We have 6 attacks, hitting on 2s because of set to defend. Wounding on 3s, rerolling 1s. There's a 2. Oh, only 3 wounds.
Yeah, that's not going to be enough to kill them.
No.
Well, 5 plus saves.
No.
I made 2 anyway. So an Eradicator will take 2 damage.
He needs to make a route.
That'll be it. And yes, the remaining member of the tainted cohort has to make a route test.
Leadership 8, so... that's the number I didn't want, so...
The flail man actually runs away. But that'll be the end of Space Marines turn 5, and we can just do Death Guard turn 5 now, I think. Yeah, you can't reconnoitre either of these table quarters. You hold 1 objective for 5, but that'll be effectively the end of the game, because I don't think the Poxwalkers can reach the land speeder there, and the Tallyman's not going to be able to kill off 2 Eradicators. So at the end of the game, I gain 15 victory points for having reconnoitred 3 table quarters, and the Death Guard gain 5 victory points for having reconnoitred 2, so that would be 25 to 20. So quite a very low victory point game, to be honest. But that'll be a Space Marines victory. It's very close. I mean, it literally came down to that charge, stopping you, because you could have just reconnoitred, and then you would have won, I think, because you would have had another turn to get objectives. So we got out of action tests. I'll do mine first. I'll do the Outriders. They're fine. Assault Intercessors. They're fine. Captain Palamas. He is fine. And the Veteran Intercessors are fine.
Then we've got mine. We'll stop the spawn. They're fine. Lord of Vyrosius, that's his name. He's fine. Plague Bus Crawler. Roll a 1. But I guess it will just... It's his first game, so it'll probably just gain no experience rather than Battle Scar. Plague Marines, Squad Repugnus. They were alright. And the
Tainted
Cohort. Oh, they rolled a 1.
No,
they would have only stood to gain 1 experience anyway, so I guess they just won't gain experience.
So for winning that game, I get to mark 2 units for greatness. So I'm going to pick Captain Palamas because he took an entire round of melee from the Terminators and lived. And I picked the Intercessor Squad Remus, the regular Intercessors who killed a Plague Marine and reconnoitred a table quarter and all lived. That's I get to mark 2 for greatness because I won the scenario, I get an extra 1. Also, for my agendas, the Veteran Intercessors and the Outriders both got 2 points on their No Fear tally, so they get 4 experience, and the Eradicators got 1, so they get 2 experience for that. And I'm going to give the Reaper awards to Intercessor Squad Remus as well, which is enough to get them over a level. And after all the experience and things, the Outriders and that Intercessor Squad are both going to level up and get a battle honour.
Yeah, and on the Death Guard side, well, unfortunately, the Plague Burst Crawler and the Tainted Cohort, the 2 units who actually sort of did something in this game, both roll 1 for their out of action, so they're both going to get no experience from this game and subtract D6 experience, but this was their first game, so they didn't have any experience anyway, so just basically not going to give them a battle scar. It's also a shame because it means you can't mark them for greatness, so decided to mark Lord Vyrosius for greatness. Well, he did do something, so...
Yeah, and he needs to level up.
So he's on 4 experience total now, but nobody's leveled up. The Spawn are on a total of 5 experience now because they've been in another game, but otherwise there's not really anything to say.
So I'll go over the upgrades next time the Space Marines show up, and we'll recap the game for you now. So that was the 6th mission of our Mystery of Artana 3 narrative Crusade campaign, the first game where the Death Guard have revealed themselves to the Space Marines, and the Silver Templars realise that coming to Artana 3 hasn't been a complete waste, not just Necrons here. But otherwise, how did you think the game went?
Well, I suppose I better say this straight away. I could have actually won that game at the end there if I had played my 4th turn differently. By no means guaranteed, but what I would have had to do is stand the Terminators in the window as they were. If they'd been able to shoot both Captain Palamas and the remaining Veteran Intercessor and then stayed where they were still holding their objective, and they would have been, at least some of them anyway, behind the building and therefore not visible. You probably still would have been able to shoot them with your heavy weapons, and so I probably would have lost 2, but what you wouldn't have been able to do is make that charge with the Eradicators, who, to be fair, did pretty well to punch one to death. It's no means guaranteed because I may have failed to shoot the captain to death and had to charge him anyway, which is probably more likely, to be honest. And secondly, I didn't actually want to cower behind the wall. When you had a captain on 1 wound, he was quite easily killable. And they brought down the captain as well, which was... I felt like they behaved slightly more in character, even though it lost me the game. Although, to be honest, I wouldn't say I was thinking about that so much at the time. I just didn't think through the implications quite so well. But anyway.
I like the idea that the Tainted Cohort are there under Felthius' orders, so they scuppered Vyrosius' plans by failing to take that objective and tactically withdrawing. You don't want to make Vyrosius seem too powerful compared to Felthius.
The thing that I guess lost me the game was actually moving into that building.
Yeah, it was making that charge so that they couldn't recon sweep that table quarter is what won me the game.
Yeah, because, I don't know, it was weird that in this game there was actually a maximum of 60 victory points available for objectives, and I got 15 and you got 10. So at a very low scoring on objectives, and the table quarters you did better than I did, but even then I still managed to stop you getting all 4, and it's only 15 victory points for doing 3.
Yeah, I think I said it was 15, then 30, then 45. That's actually wrong. It's 5, then 15, then 45. So if I'd made that charge against the Poxwalkers, I would have been able to recon sweep with the land speed of your table quarter, and that would have won me the game.
Yeah, as it was, you actually had to kill one of those Terminators. It would have been a tie if nobody had killed each other in that final fight, and I would have won if I'd killed an Eradicator, because I would have held 2 objectives, and I got 15 points in my last turn.
Also, if I put that objective in the ruin on the ground, I probably could have held it.
Yeah, nobody actually took that objective.
Now I had to put it on top of the tall thing again, just to make it look interesting, and it screwed me over. And I think going first gives you a really big advantage, because if you manage to get some reinforcements on the board, you can quite easily block off the 2 side edges, especially on a board this size.
Yeah, and I couldn't really contest the bottom right table quarter, as you would have seen it, just because I couldn't get any units over there, because I couldn't bring them on. I just struggled really to maintain any initiative in that game, just because even though I could react to where you brought your reinforcements on, your firepower units didn't actually turn up until later, so I couldn't risk expensive units in view of the firepower units, and I didn't know where they were. And secondly, I mean, for example, the Tallyman has his abilities activate in the command phase. It turns out he only had 2 command phases on the board, and one of those he was too far away to do anything anyway. If he'd been on the board at the start, which possibly would have been a better thing to do.
Yeah, maybe not put the Spawn in reserve and put him and the Tainted Cohort on the board, and you can just have the Tainted Cohort sit in the middle and basically just shoot at my intercessors that try to run out. And
I considered it, but what I didn't really want the Tainted Cohort to do was to be on the board so you could bring in your firepower wherever you chose. But the problem with bringing the Tainted Cohort is they're such an expensive unit that with both them and Lord Vyrosius in reserve, I still had to obey the scenario rules of the number and power value of units in reserve, and it was just a non-optimal setup for me, really. I probably should have either rejigged it slightly or maybe just brought some different units. But I wanted to show off the Death Guard units we hadn't seen yet, so... But even then, it was still a very close game, so...
Yeah, I mean, once the Terminators turned up, there wasn't really much I could do. It was more scrambling to deal with them.
Yeah, well, that was the advantage of bringing them on in the third turn. I already knew where your firepower was, and so I could bring them on a long way away from the Eradicators for a start. But I also got lucky in making, I think it was an 11-inch charge with the Terminators, so they got into melee immediately. Because turning up on turn 3, if they'd failed that charge, they probably wouldn't have actually done very much in that game.
Yeah, I could have fallen back with Palamas and the Veteran Intercessor and probably hidden them so you couldn't shoot them.
Yeah.
The Captain didn't really do anything. It might have been better for me to just put the Land Speeder on the board or the bikes or something so they can be the mobile unit and take an objective.
I'm also not sure bringing on the Plague Marines where I did was necessarily a good idea. I wanted to contest the objective, but in hindsight I probably should have just abandoned it, knowing you would be able to have superiority in that area. Their firepower when they turned up wasn't quite so good. I think you...
Transhuman Physiology definitely saved a few Marines.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, I don't think you rolled particularly well this game either. You rolled a lot of 2s, I think.
Yeah. Fortunately, the Vermin Whisper stratagem for the Terminators meant that all those 2s I rolled for them still hit, which was handy. But
yeah, and also I think in the first couple of turns I forgot about Bomb Marshal. It's been a while since I played the Space Marines, so I suppose it's possible that I might have killed the Plague Burst Crawler earlier, and then the bikes wouldn't have died.
Also, I suppose it's worth saying I failed to achieve either of my 2 agendas. Possibly Sentinel wasn't the best, because actually, even though the Plague Burst Crawler is very hard to kill, you were just going to dedicate your anti-tank shooting at it for the whole game. And then in hindsight, I would have, for Turn Their Hope to Rot, I would have picked your bikes rather than the Eradicators, because I did kill the bikes and not the Eradicators. Essentially, the Eradicators turning up late and then being in a nice, safe location meant that I was never really on to get that agenda, which is a shame. But the thing is, I didn't want to go for Reaper again because it's just the obvious one to choose all the time.
Yeah, it does get a bit boring after a while. But also, when you have such a small number of units, doing any of the ones that involve actions.
Yeah, I looked through all the action ones and thought, well, I'm already doing actions for the mission. I don't want to have yet another unit doing nothing all game.
Well, I don't think there's too much more to say about this game. As far as the narrative goes, the Space Marines have maybe found this underground sewers system where the Death Guard have been hiding out, so clearly we need to go in there and clear them out. But we still haven't found the source of those earthquakes that have been caused, especially that really big one that happened, and that what definitely looked like something teleporting in. So we'll see where we go from here. Otherwise, if you like this content, please leave a like and subscribe. Leave any comments how you think this is going, or if you play any Crusade forces of your own, tell us how they're getting on. We've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.